Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk Show with Waylon Lewis. I'm here, honored to be here today with Dr. John Douillard, a longtime friend and father of 40 children or something, six. So you're an expert on Ayurveda. So we're here to talk about what Ayurveda is. There's 5 videos you can watch today. They're all on youtube.com/WaylonH.Lewis. The subject of this particular conversation is what should we be eating in the summer, particularly for families, but also for maybe bachelors like myself.
The cool thing about Ayurveda is that, we eat what's in season, obviously. In the summer, it's fruits and vegetables that make sense. But the nice thing about the Ayurvedic diets is that they take foods from around the world. So you can get some exotic tropical fruits that don't grow here, and you can have them as part of your diet, but still get the benefits of that seasonal influence.
So fundamentally, Ayurveda is about eating seasonally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a reason, because if it's hot outside and you're a hot person, you have a body type that's got a lot more heat in it, like you, for example, you have more pitta, and you're eating hot, spicy food, you're only going to make yourself hotter in a hot season.
Yeah.
But nature didn't do that. Nature said, well, we're going to give Waylon cool foods and fruits and vegetables that are generally very cool. So they help to kind of take some of the heat out of the body.
So basically, every season, nature produces appropriate foods.
The antidote to the extreme of that season.
Huh. So is ice cream a good thing to eat in
It's
the
the
summer?
best time to eat it. If
Good
you're
answer.
gonna eat it,
It's the best time.
that's the best time.
Right.
In the winter, it would make sort of not so much great sense, which is why you don't have lines at Cold Stones, in the winter as much.
Although a lot of people do like to get all cozy with their blanket and Netflix and ice cream it up, right?
I guess if you get really hot under a blanket, you make the heat that way, and then ice cream probably work.
Right. Or if you're making love, then you can have ice cream. But
Another possibility.
right. Okay. So yeah.
Let me add one more thing, which
Please.
is really interesting. If I were to ask you, when is your digestion stronger, in the winter or the summer? What would you tell me? It's a trick question.
I guess summer, I would say.
Right. So good. So well, in the wintertime, we put the heat on,
Yeah.
and it gets hot, so it heats the body up. So the heat is on in the winter. So the nuts and the soups and the stews and the meats are more winter foods. We need a good fire to cook those. In the summer, the foods are being cooked on the vine. All summer long, the food is being cooked day in and day out, day in and day out.
Mm.
The reason is so we don't have to put it inside of us and cook it inside of us to make our body hotter in a hot season if we have a hot type. So if you have a hot type, pitta type, in a hot season, eating hot foods and eating like barbecued stuff that's having to turn the furnace on inside of me in a hot season, it didn't do great for our survival. As ancient humans, we survive with the ability to dissipate heat out of our body, and one of our abilities is to actually dissipate heat by not having a very strong digestive fire in the summer. So fruits and vegetables make great sense. They cool you down, and they've been cooked on the vine, so they're easy to digest. But the stuff that we eat in the summer, barbecues and things, are heavier and harder. So that doesn't mean that they're total deal breakers, but it's just good to know that I'm going to maybe lighten up on some of the heavy foods in the summer and just pig out on some of the fruits and vegetables.
So basically, if you eat local, generally that's good. But you were saying not completely.
Well, the cool thing is you have these lists, these grocery lists. We have free. You can go on my website and get them for free. Grocery lists for winter, farmer, summer, and spring. Look at the list of foods that are all summer harvested from around the world. Circle the foods that you like and give yourself permission to eat more of them. Don't be thinking, I shouldn't eat this, and I shouldn't eat this, and I shouldn't eat. That's a crazy concept. Let's think what we can eat more of and do that, and next thing you know, you're doing the Ayurvedic thing, and you're going downstream, and you're feeling better because you're eating the foods that are medicinal in that season.
So if we get those grocery lists, should we shop differently based on our dosha?
Yeah, you shop more so differently based on your season. We're in the summer, everybody's going to do cooling foods, but then you say, like Waylon, you're a hot body type. So there's one season you have to be more conscious in, which is summer. Because you're a hot guy in a hot season. If you're eating hot, spicy food, which is not on that list, you're going to potentially overheat.
Summer is when I'm strangely healthiest usually. I get in the best shape. Naturally, I just eat less, I think. And
do you like to lie in the sun and get really hot and sunbathe and things like that?
I mean, I'd like to, but I work all the time, so I don't really.
So people who are more winter body types, Vata body types, they love lying in the sun. They love lying in the hot sun. They want to get hot and they want to get big, right?
Yeah.
So they love that. Where someone who's got a lot of heat inside of you, you're like, why in the sun? Like, why? I could be doing things anyway.
Right.
What's that about?
So what are a few like specific, say, let's go through each of the 3 doshas real quick. What are a couple foods that you like most highly recommend? Pretend you're talking to your children. Like, if you're Pitta, what are a few things I should be eating this summer?
Well, there are some superfoods for summer, and they come at the end of the summer. Because at the end of the summer, there's this weird thing called thermal accumulation. So at the end of the summer, the heat gets hotter. The trees turn red. It's almost like the heat rises, turns the trees bright red. It's pretty, but the leaves fall, and we don't do that. All that heat dries out inside of us, and we have to get rid of it in other ways. So we have fruits or foods that are super cooling, and apples are major super cooling foods. Pomegranates and watermelons. Those are the ones. In the summer, those are the ones you want to be thinking about. Of course, all the fruits and vegetables are really good, but the superfoods are apples, pomegranates, and watermelons, which come at the end to get the heat out of your body.
And would that apply to applesauce kind of thing, or just? Yeah.
Apples are interesting. Like if you go to like the northeast or northwest, where they grow a lot of apples, in October, they're all walking around with loose bowel movements because they eat so much apple pie and apple strudel and apple sauce and apple butter and apple everything, apple cider, that the apples tend to purgate the heat out of their body. Like a baby, when it gets a fever, it gets loose bowel movements, gets diarrhea. That diarrhea is to dissipate the heat out of the body.
So it's good.
Apples are a purgative to help the body get looser stools to dissipate the heat out of the body. Watermelons are a diuretic. They make you go to the bathroom, make you urinate a lot, and they get the heat out of the body. So it's interesting how these foods come when we need to get the body's heat out, and those are ways to do it.
I want to title this video "Talking Shit with Dr. Douillard." And for the other doshas, should they be eating less fruits?
Well, in the winter it's cold and dry, so it's going to be a higher protein, higher fat time of the year.
Right, but for the other doshas in the summer, they should also be.
Yes. I'm sorry. So in the summer, everybody eats according to the season.
Oh, okay.
But then you overlay on top of the seasonal influence your individual body types. So once you know your body type, you go, oh, I'm a hot person in a hot season. Everybody eats cooling foods in the summer.
I'm a hot person in a hot season.
You got to eat you got to get unhot in the summer.
Right.
Otherwise, down the road, right, exactly.
Down the road,
you can get overheated, inflamed, and that
stressed.
would be And so you have to look one of the things that your body type does is it gives you information about your predispositions, where you're going to break down the road. So if you're really hot, it could be inflammation. If you're a Vata type, cold, dry type, it might be nervous system disorders. If you're Kapha, it might be extra weight, but you have predispositions.
One completely irrelevant question, but it came up in my mind, is if Pitta tends to get stressed or hot or whatever, is there like a good complement in terms of relationships? Like, is it bad for 2 Pittas to get it on?
That's obviously been talked about a lot.
Oh, it has? I thought that was an original question.
No, and I wish I could just say, Pitta should marry Pittas or whatever. I mean, I think that there's definitely something to be said for contrast. 2 Pittas in a room, I don't know. That's not always the greatest.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, sounds intense.
Yeah. Or 2 depressed, like heavy mucus creating people like Rachel.
And then if you have babies, you're going to have like super Pitta babies.
Right.
That could be really bad.
Yeah,
the whole world could change that way. So I think the diversity is probably a better way to go.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. So you can check out the other 4 videos today with Dr. John Douillard. Thank you so much.
Thank you.